Many people struggle with restless nights without understanding the real reason. They go to bed exhausted, hoping to rest, but wake up feeling uneasy, tense, or mentally drained. The night passes, yet the sense of peace never truly arrives. Padre Pio warned that this problem is often not only physical. According to his spiritual guidance, what surrounds us during sleep matters more than most people realize. Certain objects and habits kept close to the bed can interfere with spiritual rest and weaken the sense of protection in the home, even when they appear harmless, ordinary, or even familiar. The issue is that these things are rarely questioned. People repeat the same nighttime routine every day, placing the same objects near where they sleep without stopping to reflect on their spiritual impact. Over time, this creates a quiet disturbance. Not dramatic, not obvious, but persistent. The result is a feeling of inner restlessness, heavy sleep, or waking up without clarity or peace. Padre Pio taught that the bedroom is not just a place for the body to rest. It is also a place where the soul becomes more vulnerable, especially at night, when distractions fade and defenses lower. What is placed near the bed and how that space is ordered can either support peace or subtly disrupt it. Stay until the end of this video. You will understand what should be avoided near your bed, why these details affect your nights more than you imagine, and what Padre Pio taught to restore spiritual order, protection, and true rest to the place where you sleep. Nighttime is not neutral. Padre Pio taught that when the body rests, the soul does not shut down. On the contrary, the night is a moment when inner defenses are lower, thoughts slow down, and the spiritual environment around a person has greater influence. During the day, noise, movement, and routine create a kind of natural barrier. At night, that barrier disappears. Silence amplifies everything, peace, but also disturbance. This is why many people feel more anxious, fearful, or unsettled at night without understanding why. Padre Pio explained that sleep places the soul in a state of exposure, not exposure in a dramatic sense, but in a subtle one. The mind stops filtering, the will relaxes, and what surrounds the person begins to matter more. The bedroom becomes a space where order or disorder leaves a deeper mark. This is the reason Padre Pio paid attention to nighttime habits. He did not speak about fear, superstition, or obsession. He spoke about awareness. According to his guidance, what is kept close during sleep can either support interior peace or quietly interfere with it. Many people assume that sleep problems come only from stress or exhaustion. But Padre Pio warned that when rest is consistently disturbed, it is worth looking not only at the body, but also at the environment. The position of certain objects, the atmosphere of the room, and the lack of spiritual order can contribute to nights that never truly restore the soul. Understanding this is the first step to correcting what most people ignore. Most people see the bedroom as a neutral space, a place to sleep, rest, and disconnect from the day. Padre Pio taught something very different. For him, the bedroom is one of the most influential spaces in a person's spiritual life, precisely because it is where the mind becomes quiet and the soul is less guarded. What happens in that room is not limited to sleep. Thoughts settle there, worries are carried into it, habits repeat themselves night after night. Over time, the bedroom absorbs what the person brings into it, peace or tension, order or confusion. Padre Pio warned that spiritual disorder often begins quietly inside the home, not through dramatic events, but through neglect. When a space meant for rest becomes filled with distraction, emotional weight, or careless habits, it stops serving its purpose. The body may lie down, but the interior never truly rests. This is why the position of objects, the atmosphere of the room, and the intention behind nighttime routines matter. The bedroom should support silence, recollection, and calm. When it does not, the effects appear slowly. Uneasy sleep, persistent fatigue, a sense of heaviness that has no clear explanation. Padre Pio did not teach fear. He taught responsibility. He believed that restoring order in small things opens the door for peace in greater ones. If this idea makes sense to you, write in the comments, "God, bless my home." That simple intention already begins to change the atmosphere where you sleep. Padre Pio made a clear distinction between faith and habit. He warned that many people surround themselves with objects that once had spiritual meaning, but over time, those objects lose their purpose. Not because the objects are bad, but because the intention behind them disappears. An object does not protect by itself. It is not a shield. It is not a guarantee. Padre Pio taught that when something spiritual is treated as routine, decoration, or habit without awareness, it becomes empty. It no longer points the soul toward God. It simply occupies space. This is where confusion begins. People believe they are protected because something religious is nearby, while their interior life is neglected. The object remains, but prayer fades, reverence fades, silence fades. What should remind the soul of God becomes background noise. Padre Pio warned that this creates a false sense of security. Instead of strengthening faith, it weakens attention. Instead of helping recollection, it allows carelessness. And this is especially dangerous at night, when the soul is less alert and the environment has greater influence. He did not say to reject objects. He said to restore their meaning. An object placed without intention, without prayer, and without order does not bring peace. It can even become a distraction, silently replacing the interior effort that true faith requires. This is why the problem is not what people own, but how and where it is kept. And this understanding prepares us for the next step, where the real mistake begins to appear. See, Padre Pio was very precise about this point. The problem is rarely the object itself. The real issue is where it is placed and the role it takes during the night. Proximity matters because it reveals intention, habit, and priority. What stays closest to us while we sleep has influence. At night, the body is still, the mind slows down, and the soul is more receptive. Anything kept within reach of the bed becomes part of that silent environment. It is present during moments of vulnerability, fear, dreams, and interior quiet. Padre Pio warned that many people place things near their bed without discernment, not out of malice, but out of habit. Objects that should invite recollection end up mixed with distraction, emotional weight, or carelessness. When that happens, order is lost. This is why location matters spiritually. Something kept respectfully with intention, in its proper place, supports peace. The same thing, when placed casually next to where one sleeps, can lose its meaning and interfere with recollection. The soul no longer recognizes it as a reminder of God, but as part of the noise. Padre Pio insisted that spiritual life requires order. Not perfection, not fear, order. When everything is placed without thought, the night becomes restless. When the space near the bed is disordered, the interior follows. This is the mistake most people make without realizing it. They focus on what they own, but ignore how close it is to them when they are most exposed. And this is where correction must begin. Padre Pio warned that objects are only part of the problem. Habits matter just as much. What a person does before sleep prepares the interior for rest or for disturbance. Nighttime routines shape the atmosphere of the room and the state of the soul. Many people carry the weight of the day straight into bed. Unresolved thoughts, emotional tension, constant stimulation, and mental noise remain active until the moment the lights go off. The body lies down, but the interior remains restless. Over time, this becomes normal, even though it slowly erodes peace. Padre Pio taught that the last moments before sleep are decisive. They should close the day, not extend it. When habits before bed are rushed, distracted, or careless, the night becomes a continuation of daytime confusion. Rest becomes shallow, and the soul never fully settles. This does not require extreme changes. It requires attention, Simple habits repeated every night create either order or disorder. Silence, intention, and restraint prepare the soul for rest. Excess, noise, and distraction quietly interfere with it. Padre Pio did not demand perfection. He demanded awareness. He believed that peace begins when a person takes responsibility for small daily choices, especially at night, when the soul is more sensitive. If this speaks to you, write in the comments, "God, bless my home." That intention is not symbolic. It is the first step toward restoring order, calm, and protection where you sleep. Padre Pio's guidance for the night was simple and concrete. He did not encourage long prayers, complicated rituals, or excessive effort before sleep. He believed that peace comes from clarity and order, not from exhaustion. According to his teaching, the soul needs closure at the end of the day. Sleep should not begin with unresolved tension. Padre Pio advised short moments of recollection, a brief prayer, a clear intention, or a quiet acknowledgement of God's presence. The goal was not to do more, but to settle the interior. He emphasized silence. Not complete silence of sound, but interior silence. Turning off what stimulates the mind, calming unnecessary thoughts, and allowing the soul to rest without noise. This prepares the person to sleep without resistance. Padre Pio also spoke about intention. What a person carries into sleep matters. Fear, resentment, or agitation do not disappear when the lights go off. They follow the soul into rest. A simple act of surrender, placing the night in God's hands, restores order. He warned against clutter near the bed. Not only physical clutter, but emotional and mental clutter. The space around the bed should invite calm, not tension. When the environment supports rest, the soul follows. Padre Pio believed that peace at night is not accidental, it is prepared. And when it is prepared correctly, sleep becomes restorative, the mind settles, and the soul rests under protection rather than disturbance. Padre Pio taught that a home is never neutral. Over time, it absorbs what is lived inside it, not in a mystical way, but in a very real and human one. Emotions, habits, tensions, and intentions leave traces. The bedroom, in particular, reflects the interior state of the person who sleeps there. When worry, fear, or agitation become constant, the environment begins to mirror that state. The room may look the same, but it feels different. Rest becomes shallow. Silence feels heavy instead of calming. Many people sense this, but cannot explain it. Padre Pio warned that this is why spiritual order must begin inside the home. Not with drastic actions, but with awareness. When a person brings unresolved weight into the bedroom night after night, that weight does not disappear. It settles. This explains why some people feel uneasy even in familiar spaces. The issue is not the house itself, but what has been repeatedly carried into it. The bedroom becomes a place where tension is stored instead of released. Padre Pio believed that restoring peace begins with intention. Recognizing what has been allowed to accumulate is the first step. The second is deciding to change the atmosphere, starting with the place of rest. If this reflects your experience, write in the comments, "Lord, restore peace in my home." That acknowledgement matters. Peace does not return all at once, but it begins the moment awareness replaces neglect. Padre Pio did not teach people to empty their rooms or live in fear of objects. His guidance was much simpler and more balanced. The solution is not removal, but order. Order restores clarity. Order restores peace. Many people think correction means drastic change. Padre Pio taught the opposite. Small adjustments made with intention are often enough. What matters is that the space near the bed serves rest, not distraction or confusion. Ordering begins by asking a simple question. Does what is near my bed support silence, recollection, and peace, or does it keep my mind active and unsettled? This question alone already brings clarity. Padre Pio emphasized that the area closest to where one sleeps should be calm. Objects that belong there should have a clear purpose. Anything that creates mental noise, emotional weight, or unnecessary stimulation should not occupy that space. This is not about superstition. It is about respect. Respect for rest. Respect for the soul's vulnerability at night. When the environment reflects intention, the interior follows naturally. Padre Pio believed that order is protective. A well-ordered space reduces inner tension. It allows the soul to settle without resistance. It prepares the night for true rest instead of agitation. Correction does not require perfection. It requires honesty. When a person orders the space around the bed with awareness, peace becomes easier to enter. The night stops being a struggle and begins to fulfill its purpose. Padre Pio warned that when something is out of order spiritually, the body and the mind often sense it first. Not through dramatic signs, but through subtle and repeated experiences that people tend to ignore. One of the most common signs is restless sleep. Not the occasional bad night, but a pattern. Difficulty falling asleep, waking up several times, or feeling tense even after sleeping for hours. The body rests, but the interior does not. Another sign is a persistent sense of heaviness at night, a feeling of discomfort that appears without a clear cause. The room feels different at night than during the day. Silence feels uncomfortable instead of calming. Padre Pio also spoke about waking up without peace. Some people wake up already tired, irritated, or mentally confused, even when there was no obvious reason for it. This does not mean something extreme is happening. It means something is not supporting rest as it should. He was clear about one thing. These signs are not meant to create fear. They are invitations to attention, warnings that something small has been neglected for too long. Padre Pio believed that the soul communicates through unease when it lacks order. Ignoring these signs allows the disturbance to continue. Recognizing them opens the door to correction. This awareness is not about blaming oneself. It is about understanding that peace leaves clues. And when those clues are noticed, they can be addressed with simplicity and clarity. Padre Pio believed that the bedroom can return to being a place of peace. Nothing is lost. Disorder can be corrected. What has been neglected can be restored. The night does not have to remain a time of struggle. He taught that when small things are ordered with intention, the atmosphere changes. The room becomes lighter. Silence feels calmer. Rest becomes deeper. This does not happen because of a ritual, but because order invites peace. Restoring protection begins with awareness, looking honestly at what is near the bed, not with fear, but with clarity, asking whether that space truly supports rest, recollection, and trust in God. Padre Pio reminded people that God works through simplicity, a clear intention before sleep, a moment of silence, a space ordered with care. These are small acts, but they carry weight. When the bedroom becomes a place of calm, the soul responds. Sleep deepens. The mind settles. The night fulfills its purpose instead of draining strength. This correction does not demand perfection. It asks for responsibility, and responsibility restores peace. Many people look for peace in complicated answers, when the solution often begins with simple corrections. Padre Pio taught that the night reflects the order of the soul and the care given to the place where we rest. If this message helped you understand something about your own nights, stay attentive to these details. Ordering what is near your bed is not about fear. It is about restoring calm, protection, and clarity where you sleep. If this kind of teaching helps you, support this channel so these messages can reach more people. Like this video, because it tells the platform that this message matters. And subscribe to the channel to continue receiving guidance inspired by the teachings and warnings of Padre Pio. And if you stayed until the end, write in the comments, Padre Pio, protect my home. That intention is simple and powerful. God bless you.